Hey everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama, welcome to our podcast.
Today we're covering the sequel to Toy Story, just simply titled Toy Story 2.
Yes, and this was the highly rated sequel at the time it came out to the original movie, and you didn't think that it could get better than the first, but we were absolutely wrong. This movie was spectacular.
Yes. Before we start, be sure to like, subscribe, and notification will give you updates on future podcasts and we'll pause video.
Absolutely. Now we know this one came out quite a while back, and I actually remember when it first came out, and I was again astonished that they did such a good job of making a second story.
Yes.
And this involved how toys adjust when their owners are going off to college.
Mm-hmm. And it's really fun because you also got to be introduced to new characters like Jessie and Bullseye.
Bullseye?
Mm-hmm. And of course, they call him Stinky Pete and then the new
Joan Cusack.
Yeah.
And Kelsey Grammer.
Yeah.
They did a wonderful job.
Yes, and I really like how they have these celebrities in here and they really fit the characters. Instead of just being, well, because they're a celebrity, play the character.
Well, one of the best things about this sequel, which is what it was at the time, the original actors all returned and reprised their same roles, which was fantastic.
Right.
And the animation actually improved, and you didn't think they could do better, but they did. Mm-hmm. The animation improved, and the story was just as engaging as the original Toy Story.
Right. And it's funny here is that you see how the toys are collected, like when the toys are never played with. One concept they had, what if the toys were never played with, they were kind of used for a commercial. And when Woody is taken by this guy who collects toys from an old TV show apparently Woody was based off of called Woody's Roundup. Mm-hmm. And he had all the memorabilia and everything, and he was pretty much marketing off of that. And you kind of see how what happens if the toy doesn't belong to one kid but pretty much to all the kids. I watched the show and things, so for a few of the characters, they don't know what it's like to have one kid that's special to them because they're on TV. They got all the viewing kids in the country to be looked after. They don't have really one attachment to one kid. So that really comes into play here, and they really don't understand when Woody really wants to go back to Andy.
Right. And I think one of the most telling scenes is when his outfit gets ripped.
Yes, the arm. He's like, oh my arm! And the equivalent is like as if you just got amputated or something. That's literally the equivalent. It can't move or nothing. As soon as it's gone, it's just gone until they reattach it. It's hilarious.
So that was a really powerful scene in the telling of the story.
Right.
And back to Jessie and Bullseye. That was just so fun them coming in. Personality reminds me of Jessie of Team Rocket. It does just the upbeatness and the sassiness and the confidence and what she could do. Although Jessie in Team Rocket doesn't have confidence in her looks, but she should. She's gorgeous. Oh. But for this character, she's really confident. And her horse is like a dog.
Yes.
So cute.
Yes, and it doesn't talk. It doesn't talk at all the whole time. You would think it was D. Bradley Baker or something to do the voice, but yeah, it acts like a dog more than a horse until they gotta ride him.
Yes, and when they came in, first thing you thought is, okay, it's gonna be a ship between she and Woody. And you were surprised when that didn't happen.
Yeah, because, you saw the thing with him and both people in the beginning, but you kind of thought they were going to change it. But no, right. In one of the rare occasions, they stuck to what they had in the beginning because they even stayed through all the way to the fourth movie with them being reunited. And she ended up with a different character, which we'll tell in the next podcast.
Yes, which was a surprise. Like, really?
Yeah, that was... Yeah, that was a real surprise for them because that's rare that something like that happens.
I think what really was amazing in this one is Kelsey Grammer's role, because after this, he became Sideshow Bob on The Simpsons. Mm-hmm. So this was kind of like a prequel to him learning how to be a character that was evil and devious and underhanded.
Yes.
And in this movie, he had the appearance of one who could be trusted, and he pretended to be
kindly, yeah.
And underneath, he was resentful.
Yes.
Had all these feelings of anger and being abandoned.
Yes. And as you said, those themes come into play with him. And for him, it's no big deal if they get shipped out, because they're supposed to be going to Japan at one point, because you know how they have the movies where one show here is just phenomenal over there, and so they kind of do that. And Pete really doesn't know how it feels, because he's been on a shelf his whole life, never opened the box, so he doesn't know what it's like to be attached to anyone or anything. And he found out with Jessie, she did have a kid, and then she was donated, so she felt like she didn't want to get attached to anyone.
And for that scene, it was like those ads they have for the rescue animals, and it was sad, and sad music.
It actually was
and
sad.
It really pulled your heartstrings and made you sad, and made you go, oh, made you want to cry.
Yeah.
They orchestrated it perfectly.
Right.
Because you were like
So,
feeling sad for Jessie.
Right.
Wait a minute.
So like 3 different viewpoints were all introduced in one movie, which was pretty cool. And then I guess you could count a 4th one when Buzz and some of the other toys go to find Woody, and they end up at a toy store, and the toys are all kind of like really they're like blank slates. Once they're new, they all know about like them being other toys or copies of them. They all know how to react to another version of themselves. When like all the Buzz Lightyears, they're automatically programmed to think they're the real Buzz.
Right.
So when he sees another Buzz, he thinks something's up, like he's an imposter or something. And Buzz is like, oh gosh, was I really like this in the beginning? And it's really fun how they play with all these ideas for concepts for toys, because there's almost infinite possibilities to tell the story of a toy.
But it's Barbie and Ken.
Yes.
They don't say Barbie and Ken.
Not yet.
Barbie and Ken.
Yes, they say. Well, they do say in the 3rd movie.
Right.
You definitely got to mention that. But yeah, it's really great how they had all these different viewpoints for toys in this movie. Well, the first one was just, oh, what will they do when the owners aren't around and they have their own little world, and then if a bad kid get a hold of one of them. And in this one, they introduced 4 viewpoints, and then the next movies after, they still found some new ideas to do with it. And again, it's almost limitless because of how everyone can get attached to a toy.
True. But the thing is in the storytelling, it's limitless, but how do you tell a story so well that makes it feel relatable to every viewer that's watching, regardless of the age?
Yeah.
And somehow the writers of this franchise have found a way to do that.
Yes.
First movie, oh my gosh. Second movie, I can't believe you did it again.
Yeah.
3rd movie, we'll get to that. 4th movie, there's no way, and they did. And they have, it's almost like they've found a way to power into their childhoods and remember what it's like to be a child and to have those feelings and to communicate them to the audience, which is amazing, because as you know, a lot of adults forget about their childhoods and forget what it feels like. I don't, sorry. I'll be watching cartoons till I'm 100, and anime till I'm 100, but they forget. And then when you see a movie like this, it doesn't resonate and they don't get it. Unless the writing's done so well, it unlocks that part in the heart, like the Grinch, and their hearts grow 2 sizes that day. And the Toy Story franchise manages to do this every time.
Yes.
This movie's no exception.
Yes. And it really shows with every movie, the key part is Woody and his attachment to Andy. To him, it's not just the kid that plays with them. He's his partner, he's his friend, he's his best friend in the world, and he loves him just as much as Andy loves playing with him. And it carries on all the way to movie 4. That never changes.
And another thing I like in this 2nd installment is how Woody and Buzz continue to learn from each other and grow off each other's experiences.
Right. And there was a point where Woody thought, his arm's damaged, or if it gets ripped or something, he's right. And Buzz told him, he said, that's not what's gonna be like. Andy treats you way differently from other toys. So yeah, it's really great how they always have these little mini conflicts with toys, but as you said, that people can probably even relate to things like this for real. Not being a toy, but just with interrelationships with people. Maybe this is how they feel, and their self-worth, their confidence in things is equating to these things the toys are going through, and they can, identify with that, and it's actual character development and growth, and that's how these toys feel so real to people.
Absolutely. Now we know there's like a 0% chance you haven't seen Toy Story 2, so let us know what you think in the comments below. Were you surprised by the quality of the second or the sequel of the movie?
Yeah.
As I was and you were? Let us know what you think. And if by some small infinitesimal chance you haven't seen it, it's available on Disney Plus to watch. Let us know what you think in the comments as well.
Right. And be sure to like, subscribe, notification whenever there's a future podcast, and we'll pause videos.
Yes, and don't forget, this is the perfect time to rewatch the Toy Story movies, 1 through 4. It's December.
Yeah.
So revisit these movies, revisit your childhood, one movie at a time, and enjoy.
Yes. So, thank you so much for watching. I'm Rascal Entertainment.
And I'm Mom Entertainment.
Have a fantastic day.
Peace.